Winston can now give birth.
Oh? Salutations.
And the baby monkey follows teammates into battle, as well as jumping towards the enemy to murder them. The baby monkey also dances on the corpses of the enemy. And that's only one hero. This is my custom April Fool's game mode. Here's all the changes. Ana can now go to sleep with slept enemies, making them both take a nap for 12 seconds. Slept players can also be woken up by asking your teammates to step on you. She can also now jump 2 times higher with those granny legs to hit some fat nades. When Ashe is set on fire, she gains 50% extra damage. And her coach gun also deals 2 times knockback. Baptiste now has a single fire weapon that does more damage per bullet, and his burst heal is replaced with an immortality and cleanse to nearby allies. I also removed his immortality field. Now this might be the best change of them all. Bastion can't attack, however, he can become Car. You can pick up allies and drop them off, and cause some havoc. Brigitte's shield is now 3 times the size. However, when she is in her ultimate, it is 20 times the size, as well as the ultimate damaging enemies in a radius of Brigitte. Cole Cowboy Cassidy can now Pharah rocket jump. He also has 2 times ammo and deals 50% less damage while fanning the hammer. Also a 15% speed boost while high nooning. D.va's melee now throws a missile for a small amount of longer range damage. Her boosters can also pick up enemies. And when she is baby D.va, coming into contact with an enemy causes her to explode. Doomfist's primary fire is replaced with this. His punch is also replaced with a bouncy ball. Leap is also replaced with 4 seconds of free flight, and Power Block reduces an additional 20% damage received and heals him for 30 HP a second while blocking. Echo can no longer normally attack, but she can now either turn into a random support hero or a random DPS hero for 10 seconds on a 5-second cooldown. Genji is now always using his Dragon Blade, and with reduced damage and health. Deflecting now throws a large shuriken, and he also gets an extra dash reset if his dash hits an enemy, but this is a separate cooldown so you don't always have it. Hanzo can now only shoot storm arrows, and he has 12 instead of 5. Illari's outburst now has 3 times movement speed, and when she lands, she knocks up enemies and damages them. She also has double the amount of healing ammo, and her healing pylon is replaced with a short-range explosion burst attack. Junker Queen can now grapple, and her axe can now set people on fire. Junkrat now has a secondary fire, and his new ultimate, well, is this. Instead of teleport, Kiriko now gets to ride her bike. Also, her ultimate will now resurrect in a small radius of Kiriko. Lifeweaver can no longer grip allies, but instead only enemies. Lucio can now boop himself, and melee causes a boop to enemies. His ultimate also bounces nearby enemies upward and does small damage. Mauga has a shorter cooldown on his charge, and charging past an ally will pick them up. His ultimate now also teleports everyone to him, and after crouching, he jumps much higher. Mei's primary fire now pushes her backward, so yes, she can fly. And Ice Block is replaced with a Frost Wave that deals small damage and heals her a bit. Mercy can now pre-resurrect an ally. I also replaced her Guardian Angel with a Leap, and in ultimate she now deals 50% more damage. Moira can now fade into an enemy to parasite inside them and deal damage over time. It's disgusting, and I love it. While Orisa uses her primary fire, she starts inflating, and she has more ammo. Her javelin spin also works like a fan that blows enemies away. Pharah is no longer a flying hero. No more hover jets. Ability 1 now sucks enemies downward, and Ability 2 heals Pharah and gives her a short speed boost. Ramattra now has weaker fire strikes now weaved into his primary fire, and while punching, it sends him slightly forwards. However, during his ultimate, he is sent forward enough to even fly. Reaper now has free flight during his Fade ability, and his teleport is replaced with a jump backwards because he got scared. Reinhardt now has a jetpack, and after his ultimate, he gains a short speed boost for 3 seconds. Also, the longer he holds his shield up, it gets smaller. That one was Blizzard's idea, I promise. Roadhog's hook now launches enemies, and his pigpen is replaced with a leap that knocks up and damages enemies. Sigma just now always has free flight. Lore accurate Sigma. Sojourn's slide is replaced with a Genji-like dash that damages enemies. Her ultimate also resets this dash cooldown. Soldier 76 is an old man with a gun, yes, but he's also a very fast old man with a gun. Fast enough that he sets enemies on fire. Sombra hack now gives a floating effect for 2 seconds, and her primary fire is replaced with giving out viruses like candy. Symmetra can no longer primary or secondary fire, but she now has more movement speed, and all her cooldowns are heavily reduced, and her turrets deal way more damage, so the strat is to teleport your buffed turrets onto enemies. Torbjorn can now one-shot enemies with his hammer, which will fully heal him and reset his cooldowns. But if you miss, you die. Tracer is now giant, and knocks down enemies she steps on. As Venture digs through the ground, they can now grab an enemy to drag them along with them. Widowmaker's movement speed is increased, but she has much less health. Holding interact will do the craziest strafe you have ever seen. Also, her ultimate now disables scoping in, but gives her 1000 health. Wrecking Ball just keeps getting faster as he rolls, with much reduced health, but more damage. Zarya bubbles now enlarge players, and her secondary fire has 3 times knockback, including to herself. She can also hover in the air by holding jump. And finally, Zenyatta. When healing an ally, he jumps much higher, and while discording an enemy, he gains movement speed so he can hunt them down. His ultimate is now also uncontrollably fast. And the game mode is finally out. The code is in the description. Also, if you're looking for people to play with, join the Discord and use the LFG Customs text channel.